Hello everyone, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another collection of romance scams that were never going to go anywhere. Our first failed romance scammer was Penzin Mathuri, who prefers to be known as Michael Steeves with an apostrophe S. Michael introduced himself to Samantha. "Hello Samantha, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a great day over there," he said. "I'm very well, thanks," said Samantha. "How are you?" "I'm fine, thanks for asking," he said. "How is the weather over there today with you? Nice meeting you here on Facebook." "It's a lovely sunny day," said Samantha. "Where are you?" "I'm from Los Angeles, California," he said, "but I'm currently now in Syria. What about you? Where do you live?" "I live in Salcombe in Devon, England," she said. "What do you do in Syria?" "Well, I'm Michael Steve. I work for the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, NATO, of the United Nations. I think we've established before that the two organisations are separate. I work as an orthopaedic surgeon. I treat gunshot wounds and broken bones. I'm currently on a peacekeeping mission in Saadad, Syria. So tell me, what is your profession?" "Sounds very impressive," said Samantha. "I'm a housekeeper. I work in a guest house close to the seaside." "Oh," he said, "I hope your profession doesn't stress you out much. Do you have kids?" "I have an adult daughter," said Samantha. "She lives in Exeter. Why do you think being a housekeeper would stress me out? What a strange thing to say." "No, just asking," he said. "How old are you?" "I'm 58, said Samantha. "How about you?" "I'm 61, he said. "You really have a beautiful face and smile. I'm a widower. I lost my wife through polycystic kidney disease 3 years ago. I was emotionally devastated when my wife died, but I stay firm and strong for Kid." "I'm really sorry about that," said Samantha. "Thanks for your condolence," he said. "Life has to move on, dear. I hope we can know more about each other." "Have NATO and the UN joined?" asked Samantha. "How old are you?" he replied. "I told you already," said Samantha. "Are you going to answer the question?" "What question are you asking about?" he said. "Have NATO and the UN joined? It's only about 3 lines back," said Samantha. "Yeah," he said. "OK," said Samantha. "Where do you work? Where in Syria are you? Oh, sorry, you already said Saadad. Are you in a local hospital?" "No," he said. "Wow! That's good. Well, I'm Doc Michael Steve. I work for the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, NATO, of the United Nations. I work as an orthopaedic surgeon. I treat gunshot wounds and broken bones. I'm currently on a peacekeeping mission in Saadad, Syria. So tell me, what's your profession?" "Oh, go away," said Samantha. "We've done all that. Stop copying and pasting and read my answers. You aren't a doctor, and you aren't in Syria, are you? You're just a bored school kid who should be in class. Is school boring in LA?" "What do you mean by I'm copying and past?" he said. "You just said exactly the same thing twice," said Samantha. "So obviously you copied and pasted the whole paragraph. How stupid do you think I am?" "I don't understand what you mean by I just said the same thing twice," he said. "First time," said Samantha, copying and pasting the first time he'd said it. Second time, copying and pasting the second time he'd said it. "I assume you know the meaning of twice, and you can count up to 2. Even I can count, and I ain't the smartest." "Can you please do me a favour?" he said. "Depends what you want," said Samantha. "Send me your WhatsApp number," he said. "No," said Samantha. "Don't be pushy. I don't use WhatsApp." "Send your phone number, OK, he said. "No," said Samantha. "You can talk to me on here." "You just send me your number," he said. "I want to add it on my Facebook." "You got difficulty reading or something?" said Samantha, who was forgetting she was the housekeeper and going to the Samantha in prison mode. But I'll confuse you if I read it out in that voice, so we'll just assume she was confused. "How?" he said. "I said no," said Samantha. "Don't you know what no means? You're talking to me on here. You can carry on talking to me on here, or you can sling your hook." "Yes, I understand," he said. "Please." "Good," said Samantha. and our man disappeared. He was followed by Anne Agnew, who prefers to be known as Robert Howard. Robert really needs to work on his chat-up lines. He introduced himself to Samantha. "How are you doing?" he said. "I don't think we've met before, but I'm sorry if my friend requests sound rude to you. Actually, FB kept popping up your profile on my page as people I may know, so decided to add you up to my friend list." "It's nice to meet you," said Samantha. "Tell me something about yourself, so I know who you are." And so he did. "My pleasure to meet you," he said. "My name is Robert Howard, and I'm from North Carolina. I lost my son Gary in a house fire accident. That has been my saddest moment." "That's very sad," said Samantha, "but that's a very strange thing to tell someone you don't know. If you're looking for a therapist, then I'm afraid you've contacted the wrong person." "Thanks," he said. "I'm self-employed. I'm into sales and importations of automobile tyres for automobile companies around the United States. And you?" "Excuse me," said Samantha. "Did you read what I typed?" Our man sent a thumbs up. "What's that supposed to mean?" asked Samantha, and our man disappeared. Then along came Thomas Porter. Thomas made the mistake of introducing himself to Cassandra. Thomas knows exactly how to interact with a mature lady that he's just met online. "Good morning," he said. "How are you? Very nice to meet you, and where are you from? You're not going to speak to me?" he said, when she didn't answer him immediately. "I don't bite." "I was in the kitchen," said Cassandra. "I do apologise for not answering you immediately." "There's no problem," he said. "And where do you live?" "I live near Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk. That's in England," she said. "Where are you?" "I live in the USA. Texas." "Where in Texas?" asked Cassandra. "It's a rather large state." "A little town called Marietta, Texas. 119 people." "Sounds darling. How exquisite," said Cassandra. "My mother was English," he said. "I have aunts and cousins and uncles living in London, England. Right now, I've been there a bunch of times." "How lovely," said Cassandra. "Where in London do your aunts and cousins live?" "Right outside of London," he said. "I can't remember the town. By the way, do you have WhatsApp?" "Alan Murray is one of my cousins on Facebook. Obviously, if you've been to visit your aunts and cousins a bunch of times, you do forget where they live." "No, sorry," said Cassandra. "I don't use WhatsApp. If you've been here a bunch of times, it's most surprising that you can't remember the name of the town where your family lives. I do find that very hard to believe." "What are you saying? That I'm lying?" he said. "I don't have no reason to lie. I'll call my cousin and get the name of the town, okay?" "I never mentioned lying," said Cassandra. "I wonder why you would think such a thing. Call your cousin and let me know." "Okay, I'll do it," he said. And then he came back. "West Sussex, Berkshire. And also downtown London. I think I spelled them right. I'm not sure. My Uncle Thomas, which was my mum's brother, on the carpet store in downtown London, but he has passed away since my mum passed away last year at 97 years old. My dad died at 42. He was in World War II. He met my mother in London and he sent for her after the war." "I was rather hoping you'd tell me which towns your relatives lived in," said Cassandra. "You must know if you've been there a bunch of times. When I asked where you live in Texas, you didn't just say Texas, you told me the name of the town." "Hello," he said, sending her a rather silly gif, which underneath said, "Love quotes for you, join group." "Has your cousin managed to tell you which town he lives in yet?" asked Cassandra, and our man forwarded a message. And that may well be from one of his relatives. Who knows? Because the message says, "We live in Lower Morden in Surrey, which is part of Greater London. We live about 5 miles from Wimbledon tennis courts. It takes about 40 minutes to drive into central London and about 30 minutes drive in the opposite direction to Epsom Racecourse, where they hold the Epsom Derby. I guess we live about 15 miles from where I used to live when you came to England." "This is where my cousin lives," he said. "Okay," said Cassandra. "Mummy and Daddy used to go to the races at Epsom a lot when I was a little girl." "So I guess you believe me now," he said. "What on earth are you talking about, man?" said Cassandra. "It's becoming very clear that there's something you aren't telling me. Anyone that repeatedly tells you they aren't lying almost always is. Otherwise, why on earth would you say it?" "Well, good morning to you," he said. "Good morning to you too," said Cassandra. "So, what are you up to today?" I'm in the kitchen cooking a large batch of stew for the village fete this weekend. What are you up to? Right now, I'm sitting on the couch, drinking my coffee. Did you hear about that school shooting here in the United States? I did, said Cassandra, and why the expletive you don't ban guns is totally beyond me. I have no printable words for what I really think. Are you retired? I didn't ask how old you are, or what you do. Yes, I'm retired, he said. I work 40 years for one company. I was born in 1953. Is that too old? Too old for what? Asked Cassandra. What did you do before you retired? I work for El Paso Natural Gas, he said. What did you do for them? I worked on big compressor stations, he said. Sounds very specialised, said Cassandra. I run the family estate. So? Are you divorced? Widowed? Or what? Probably none of my business, he said, but I'd like to know. Neither, said Cassandra. I never married. I'm quite happy on my own. You never married? Wow! I presume you are married, said Cassandra. I've been divorced for 18 years, he said. I live on my own. Okay, she said. So, have you had any boyfriends? I'm 62, not 16, said Cassandra. Do you have any girlfriends? I had one about 3 years ago, he said. Didn't work out for you, said Cassandra. Nope, she wanted to get married, and I don't want to get married again, he said. Okay. Do you have WhatsApp? And do you give your number out if you don't? Real problem, just wondering. No to both, said Cassandra. You probably get mad to meet me, but I'm just curious. Are you a big-breasted woman? Said our 68-year-old to a woman he's just met online. If you're the kind of man that's only interested in the size of a lady's assets, you know what you can do. Goodbye, she said. I'm not the first man that has asked you that, and I won't be the last. Believe me. You aren't the first man that's been told to shove off, and you won't be the last, so goodbye. Okay, he said, if that's what you want. Goodbye. And he disappeared. And I don't doubt that had Cassandra told him that she was a big-breasted woman, and had their friendship, in quotes, continued, he would have started asking her to send him nude photographs. Please don't ever do that with someone that you don't know. You don't know where they're going to end up. Then along came Amins Vote. He thought he'd introduce himself to Denise, and he certainly knows how to charm an older lady. Hello there, he said. Good afternoon, said Denise. Good morning, he replied. I think I just said that it's afternoon, said Denise. Yes, you said that. Where are you from? I live in Guildford. It's in England, she said. My name is Martin. I'm from Michigan, United States. Oh, that's beautiful. I see why you said afternoon. Sorry, I mistook your location. All right? Where in Michigan? Asked Denise. You been to Michigan before? He asked. No, but I know it's a state, she said. Oh, yeah. You been to Kingsford? Where's Kingsford? She asked. In Michigan. Thought you knew places in Michigan. I already told you I haven't been to Michigan, said Denise. Okay, then. That's where I'm from. I love your energy, if you say so, said Denise. Haven't had any friend from England, he said. There's a first time for everything, said Denise. Was surprised to see your profile on people you may know. Oh, yeah, for sure. Why were you surprised? She asked. Your profile don't say anything. Why didn't you upload your info? He asked. I don't know what you mean, said Denise. My grandson set up Facebook for me. Oh, really? That's cool then. Your profile was so empty. That's why I said that. Makes me scared to discuss further, because I really don't want to talk to the wrong person around here. I've no idea what you're talking about, said Denise. Who do you think I am? I don't know. Sorry, he said. Your profile didn't say anything. How am I supposed to know? Are you looking for someone? Asked Denise. I'm here because I've been single for long, he said. I can tell you if I'm the wrong person if you tell me who you're looking for, she said. And I wish to maybe someday find a compatible partner. That's why I don't come here often to chat with people. You do understand, right? Oh, are you in the wrong place? Said Denise. Shouldn't you be on one of those dating website things? Yeah, sure. but it never worked. I've joined Facebook since 2009. I left for a while and came back recently. Not sure where I need to know that, said Denise. I'm trying to tell you, I've met different people on here since then, all right? It's no big deal, just saying. Oh, okay, said Denise. Denise, you talked about grandkids. Can I ask if you're married, separated, or divorced? I'm a widow, she said. I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. My grandson Benji set up Facebook for me. For me, I'm a widower for 5 years now, he said. Lost my wife to cancer. I have a son who's 10 years old and a dancer. That's beautiful, he said. Such a smart lad, in reply to her telling him that her grandson had set up Facebook. Yes, he's a lovely lad, said Denise. I'm a very lucky lady. So, how long have you been here on Facebook, he asked. I don't know, she said. So sorry for your loss. We both had lost that special one from our lives. Sometimes it gets to me, you know. And in reply to Denise saying, I don't know, he said, Oh, it's a harmless with an uppercase H question. Now what are you talking about? Said Denise. You don't know what I'm talking about, he said. I simply said, I don't know how long I've been on Facebook. What did you mean by it's a harmless question? Don't worry, he said. You seems to get wrong meaning to my messages. The way you replied seemed you pissed off. No, I'm asking you what you meant. Then I won't get wrong meaning. By my question, he said. What? Saying I don't know? I don't know. What did you want me to say? Oh dear, I really don't know, but I'll write a long sentence so you don't get pissed off. I'll make sure to give you long answers from now on. It can be last year the Facebook was created for you, he said, or the year after. Was only asking. Oh, we aren't fighting, right? Or maybe I should stop texting then. You're the one that seemed to think I don't know wasn't an acceptable answer, she said. I don't want to get on your nerves, he said. Well, stop acting like a baby then, said Denise. You funny, he said. You acting like a baby. Go away, idiot. Goodbye, said Denise. You just getting mad over a little discussion and harmless questions. Has it gotten to that? I said, go away. Goodbye, said Denise. Does it result to insults now? Can't we have discussions as adults? No, said Denise. Which bit of go away are you struggling with? And then our man proved just what a gorgeous, charming man he was. Broke woman, he said, giving the most attitude. You dumb old scunt. You're definitely not giving me the impression that you're the sort of kind, friendly gentleman that I would want to make friends with, said Denise. You started with the insults, he said. Now you wish I was a gentleman. Where were your manners at first? No, I do not. Go away, said Denise. Goodbye. You're blocked. Wasn't I cool enough, you dumb fool, he said, while Denise was looking for the block button. And that was the end of Martin's Vote. Good luck, mate. And then along came Armin Sam. Armin thought he'd introduce himself to Samantha. Hello, pretty, he said. How are you doing? It's great pleasure to be your friend. Hi, said Samantha. Nice to meet you. I will like us to know more about each other. Where did you live now? I live near Salcombe in Devon, she said. Where do you live? I was born and raised up in Dallas, Texas. Nice to have you as my friend. You're welcome. Tell me, are you married? No, I'm not, said Samantha. My last partner and I split up many years ago. I'm divorced, said our man. Ever since I'm divorced, I'm looking for a woman that I will spend the rest of my life with, because I'm tired of living alone without a wife. I hope we will make a good friendship. Tell me about yourself, said Samantha. How old are you? What do you do? I work with US Army, he said, and I'm 46 years old. And you? I work in a seaside guest house in Salcombe in Devon. I'm 58. What do you do in the army? For me, I work in the camp, in monitoring unit base, he said. I'm looking for a good date, someone willing to be there, caring, romantic, an honest person. Ever since I got divorced, I've been single and faithful to myself. Where is the camp monitoring unit base? Asked Samantha. I'm presently stationed in Rzeszów, Poland, he said, for peacekeeping mission, and I apologise for my pronunciation there. I've stayed here for past few months now, but I have 3 months to complete my mission here in Rzeszów, Poland. Like I told you, I was born in Dallas, Texas. But if I... That's Sophie's... That's what Sophie thinks of him being born in Dallas in Texas. Like I told you, I was born in Dallas, Texas. But if I could meet the love of my heart, I'm ready to relocate, because distance to me is not a barrier in a relationship, as I'm ready to relocate or travel any distance for my woman, and I can do anything for her, as long as she's loving and kind. Why are you on a peacekeeping mission in Poland? Asked Samantha. For Ukraine and Russian war, he said. And what are you doing that would be called peacekeeping? Because you're failing spectacularly, so I suggest you go home. So does Sophie. To which our man replied, OK. Exactly, yes. Are you on a one-man peacekeeping mission? She asked. No, he said. Why ain't you sleeping? What kind of question is that? Asked Samantha. Why ain't you sleeping? What's the time there? He asked. 8:40, said Samantha. It was 8:40 in the morning. LOL, he said. If you aren't peacekeeping on your own, she said, I assume there are several of you that have been misled and should go home. Where did you said you live? He asked. Why is telling you it's 8:40? Funny. So she copied and pasted the bit where she said, I live near Salcombe in Devon. Where do you live? And then he called her. Hello? Hello?
Hello, I can't see you.
I can't see you.
You said what?
I said I can't see you.
I can't see you.
I can't see
Why?
you.
Why is it so? I can't see you. I don't know what's doing your camera. What's doing your camera?
I don't have my camera turned on, and I can't see you either.
Let me see what's happening.
I have no idea what's happening. You've called me, and you aren't showing your face, so I don't know why you've bothered to call me.
I want to confirm if it's really you.
Well, I want to confirm if it's really you, so a gentleman would go first, wouldn't he?
You said what?
I said I want to confirm that it is really you, and a gentleman would go first.
Okay.
So turn your camera on, which obviously he can't do. Too cowardly to turn your own camera on first, said Samantha when the call had ended. I can't see you, he said. I take that as yes, I'm too cowardly to turn my own camera on first. My camera is on, he said. And what's the problem with yours? And of course, if you were paying attention, and you can hear past the cat, you'll have noticed that he played a stolen video. Your camera is not on, said Samantha. Mine is turned off. I want you to 1, wave at me and say, hello, Samantha. 2, touch your nose when I ask you to. But I know you can't do that. OK, he said, since you know so, what do you intend to do now? Nothing, said Samantha. Sophie apparently has a lot to say this morning. The question is, what do you intend to do now? Give me the Plan B sob story about how you're a thieving scammer, but you love me anyway. Are you on WhatsApp, he said. No, said Samantha. You can download it. Let's talk over there. No, said Samantha again. LOL, he said. Why? Because I can talk to you perfectly well here, till your fake account is removed. LOL, he said. I assume, she replied, that you're too much of a coward to show your face. Wave at me and say hello, Samantha, and then touch your nose when I ask you to. So goodbye. I have better things to do. Okay, he said. I'm black. So you happy now, since you know I'm fake? And your time is 3:57 a.m. and not 8. Why are you lying? Said our misguided scammer, who apparently couldn't even be bothered to look up and see where Solcombe in Devon was. And so he blocked Samantha. I hope you enjoyed this compilation of failed scams. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.